Well, you touched on something about being a child and having that fear of talking to your dad.
Mm,
And this is something that with my three kids, they've, I grew up with a father that I was afraid of and
mm,
have dealt with, some of those daddy issues that most girls go through. And I did not want that for my kids. And so when there were the hard things, or I knew they were holding back from talking to me as a mom, I tried to make it a very open conversation and say, it's okay, be nice to me, but tell me the
mm,
truth, because I need
mm,
to know your truth. And I don't want you to live your life for me. I want you to live like your life for you and be your authentic self and get over that fear. But let's talk about, what is fear and where is that coming from? Why are we, so prone to have that fear that's holding us back from being our authentic self?
Yeah, I think that to me, fear is not good or bad. It's partly it can be a signal of something we need to pay attention to, but also a protective mechanism. See, ultimately, when we're children, when we're really young, little babies, beings, we're in touch with our true nature. We're in touch with our divine self. We're in touch with. We don't have that much fear. We poop when we feel like pooping. We're not afraid. We'll run naked through the house, and we're not afraid that, oh, what do people? What do I look like on Instagram? What do people think about me? We don't really care. We're not conditioned, you see, to be afraid of things. We'll run up to people and give them we're not so conditioned, right and wrong, good and bad. And so we're in touch with the unconditioned dimension of our being. And we laugh and we cry and we'll jump on the table and sing, and we don't care that we don't sound like Bruno Mars or Adele until we're conditioned and we're taught that's good, that's bad, you could be better, why didn't you do that, and so a couple of things happen. We incarnate into this human experience. We meet our parents, and mother of three, you're my hero, right? I don't know how you do it, but you're a hero. Truly, and to run a business, and I mean, all of that is amazing. And so we meet our parents. Our parents, they're just doing the best that they can do based on their childhood and their conditioning and their humanity. And now we're born. We meet parents. We're born into a preset pattern, a framework that's preconditioned. Parents, grandparents, ancestors, ancestral, lineage, society, media, culture, and maybe mom had mental health issues. Maybe dad was an alcoholic. Maybe they were fighting all the time. Maybe there was abuse. Maybe they were great people, but perhaps they didn't know how to meet our emotional needs, and that was painful. So two things happen. The first thing is we learn to shut down, disconnect, and not feel the pain of what's going on around us. And as a result, we start to suppress feelings, suppress our feelings, suppress our emotions, suppress those feelings. And a lot of the unfelt emotions, pain, anger, fear, shame, sadness, hurt, guilt, starts building up. Layers and layers and layers and layers and layers start building up. And our true light, our true essence starts getting hidden underneath the freedom that we are. Then we learn all sorts of survival mechanisms to erect walls and disconnect and go into our minds so that we don't have to feel the pain. So we don't have to feel how afraid we were or how helpless we felt. And so now we've become a version of ourselves that's a defensive, more, so we say, survival-based version of ourselves that we hold on to very tightly in order to never feel that pain again, never feel that emotion again. And so, as children, we're these sensitive beings. And so, when we feel all this stuff, it can be so scary. So, now this defense mechanism that we've learned to be is protecting us from feeling that again. It's survival. It's survival. Then we learn a way of being, because often, not intentionally, but we're loved many times conditionally, or at least we interpret it to be that way. We start learning a way of being in the world, like, who do I need to be in order to get love from my mom and my dad? Oh, I cry, and maybe dad says, hey, boys, don't cry. For me, I learned to be the good son, the responsible one. Nothing wrong with that, but there were so many parts of myself that I learned to let's say, hide, because I thought it wasn't acceptable. I was afraid. We start learning, wow, it's not okay for me to to be that, to be emotional, to be funny, to be loud, to be, fill in the blank. And so we all learn a strategy and mechanisms. Who do I need to be to get love, validation, and approval? So we start developing roles and masks and personas, which then we hold on to. That becomes our identity, and it gets reinforced by society and life. And before you know it, we become this person that we think we are. It's not who we really are, but we've been conditioned. So often the fear is out of conditioning. We become conditioned to be this version of ourselves that we think that we are, to get the love and to avoid the pain. And so often that fear is arising from that place of, wow, if I'm not this, then I won't get love anymore. If I'm not nice, if I'm not responsible, if I don't take care of everyone, if I'm not, then I won't get love. And I think that's a deep fear that comes from sometimes not feeling that unconditional love from our parents. Like, hey, no matter what you do, no matter what you don't do, I will always love you. Versus, oh, why didn't you get, you got A's, A minus? Why was it not an A plus? Or, why didn't you? And so we start learning, if I'm not a certain way, I won't be loved. If I am a certain way, maybe I won't get love. I'll be abandoned. And so I think deep rooted is that fear of not being loved, that fear of just who I am as I am is not enough. And so we often, out of that fear, we often seek that sense of validation and enoughness and love and approval in the world, by achieving more, by attaining more, by trying to be famous. I mean, so many things that it never really fulfills us, And so I think that's kind of at the root of it, really.